All right, so we're going to continue on system of equations, solving systems of equations. If you have not watched the video or do not understand what a system of equation is quite yet, go back and watch the first couple videos we've gone through about systems of equations and what that means before jumping into this word problem video. So we're going to kind of break down a word problem. We have to write our own system of equations. So a system of equations, if you don't remember, is two or more equations that are working kind of together. So we call them a system. So we're going to use the 3-read strategy because it's a very convenient way to break down the information and kind of understand what's going on. So first, we're going to read the whole problem, and then we're going to just think about what's going on. Can I draw it? Keep this very simple. So first, let's go ahead and read it. So down here we have the Sugar Sweet Company will choose from 2 companies to transport its sugar to market. The first company charges $3,609 to rent the trucks, plus an additional fee of $75.25 for each ton of sugar. The second company does not charge to rent the truck, but charges $275.75 for each ton of sugar. So there was some very specific information in there. We want to keep it simple. So can I figure out, can I draw what's going on? Just a simple picture. So if I look at this, so my first reading, I'm just going to draw this. So I have this first sentence basically is all I need to draw this. I have the Sugar Sweet Company, and it's going to choose from one of 2 companies to transport sugar to market. So you don't have to get fancy with your buildings. You could have done trucks. You could have done anything you wanted to do, just showing that, it's 2 different options. Okay, so I did company 1, company 2. All right, the second read is what is the question? So again, we have the Sugar Sweet Company will choose from 2 companies to transport its sugar to market. First company charges $3,609 to rent the trucks, and it has an additional fee of $75.25 for each ton of sugar. The second company does not charge to rent the trucks, but charges $275.75 for each ton of sugar. So there's no question here, but the questions are actually down below. For whatever reason, Alex kind of separates those out instead of adding them to the paragraph. So there are 2 questions. So for what amount of sugar does the 2 companies charge the same? So that's our first task, is we want to know how much sugar do we need to transport using both companies for the amount to be the same. And then what is the cost when the 2 companies charge the same? So with this one, I'm just circling this so you can see what is the question. Well, it's 2 questions really. First, we have to answer the first one, and then we can use that answer to answer the second question. So the last thing is, what is the important information? So we're going to read it one more time. The Sugar Sweet Company will choose from 2 companies to transport sugar to market. Hopefully we've gotten that part already. The first company charges $3,609 to rent the truck, plus an additional fee of $75.25. So that's definitely very important. And I can see that, so I can write that down here by the company. It charges $3,609 plus $75.25 for every ton of sugar. And instead of each ton of sugar, I just wrote T after this because this means times T, which means each ton, right? Times tons. So I'm just kind of writing it in the expression already. So this is the expression for company number 1. Company number 2, the second company does not charge to rent the truck, but charges $275.75 for each ton of sugar. So that's definitely important information. So down here, I don't have this beginning charge on company number 2. I only have the $275.75 T because it's for every ton, it's $275.75. But there isn't an additional fee like company number 1. But company number 1 charges quite a bit less per ton. So what this type of situation is going to help us do is going to help us make a decision. Which company should the Sugar Sweet Company use to save money? And it's going to matter how many tons of sugar they transport. So if they only transport 1 ton of sugar, well, they're already over $3,000 here. But down here, they'd only be at $275. So that would definitely be worth using company 2. But maybe after a while, if they're transporting a lot of tons of sugar, company 1 might be better. That $3,609 fee might end up being recouped because of how much cheaper it is to transport the tons of sugar. So what this does is it helps us figure out which option is best. Now, is this a real life situation for us? Probably not. But I know I've done one before where it's talking about cell phone companies or buying something at the market. Those are definitely real world situations. So you can do this same idea with really anything where you have two options and you're trying to weigh the differences. So let's go ahead and answer this first question. So we want to know when the two companies will charge the same. So I know how much company one charges. It's the $3,609 plus $75.25 per ton. And I know how much the second company charges. It's $275.75 per ton. So if I want to know when they're equal, I'm just going to put an equal sign between them, and I'm going to solve this question or this equation. So I want to bring the tons together. So I'm going to subtract $75.25 from both sides. And the 3,609 drops down. The 75.25 cancels because anything minus itself is 0. And then I subtract the 75.25 here, and I'm left with $200.50 per ton, right? All right. So this is the kind of difference. Once we've evened out the amount. So now I want to know the difference between the charges of the two companies per ton. How many would I have to use to make up that $3,609? So I'm going to divide. So I'm undoing the multiplication here. So we get 18 equals T because the 200.50 cancels. Anything divided by itself is 1, right? So this means 18 tons of sugar will make the two companies equal. Now, what does that really mean? If you go with company number 2 and you're doing 18 tons or less than 18 tons, it's definitely going to be cost worthy to do company 2 because it's going to be a lower amount. But after 18 tons, now we've caught up. They're equal at that point at 18. So anything above 18 tons, company 1 is going to be cheaper because now I'm only paying $75.25 for every ton after that instead of the $275. So it just depends. If they're not going to transport very many tons, company 2. So 17 or less, but 18 or more, 18 actually is either company, it doesn't matter. But more than 18 would be company number 1 because now all of a sudden each one of those tons starts to get cheaper instead of paying that $275. So it's just one of those things. So now let's look at question number 2. What is the cost when the two companies charge the same? So we literally just need to go back and say, well, if I'm using 18 tons, I can plug it into either one of the two companies. Doesn't matter which one. So where do I have it here? Oh, I think it's off screen. Darn it. So with this one, if we look at the 275, and I don't know if I can pull the calculator well. So I'll do it like this. So 275, it was 275.75, right? Yep. Times, and I know I'm using 18 tons, so I'm just using company number 2. So they charge $275.75 per ton. So I'm going to multiply by 18, and I get $4,963.50. So this is the point at which both companies are the same. And I can even test that on company number 1. There was $3,609 plus it was $75.25 per, which means multiplication, per ton, and I'm using 18 tons. And you see we get the exact same amount. So that definitely works out there. The calculation must be lower. I need to make sure I scooch that up so that we can actually see it. But that was just the idea. You're just taking this 18 tons and you're plugging it in to either company 1 or 2. Doesn't matter which one you plug it into because they should equal the same at this point. All right, so that was a system of equations word problem. I hope that helped, and I will see you on the next one.